I have been working on trimming some of the specimens I collected from the quarry I went to this year. And there were two separate trips to the same quarry. And I hope you can see this is a larger dolomite specimen. But this location, specific quarry location, very interesting because of the tiny micro crystals of marcasite that can appear on the dolomite, and I hope you could kind of see those kind of brassy, dark spots on the the dolomite saddles. That's the actual marcasite. But let's put this guy back carefully. I have been trimming up a bunch of specimens. I've got some smaller guys, some smaller little pieces of dolomite crystals that have just kind of fallen out of pockets as I've been trimming up these guys, because these guys are full of pockets, and actually the pockets that haven't been exposed to the air are the best, because they'll have the most, or in theory have the least oxidized marcasite on them. But as you can see, this guy has got those black spots are the marcasite blades, or clusters of marcasite. And yeah, so I have a bunch of these. There's like a treatment method actually devised by some guys who've been in the collecting hobby a lot longer than me in this area, and have seemed to make it seemed to be tried and tested. They have specimens that they've collected like 20 years ago of marcasite that they've used with treated with this treatment method, and they're still around here today. Because for those who don't know, marcasite can be quite volatile. Right now we're just looking at calcite. That specimen that I trimmed up, some nice dogtooth crystals, but the marcasite can be quite volatile, and kind of volatile in the sense that it'll start to degrade and kind of turn into like this white or dark kind of oxidized powder. So one way of dealing with that is you actually do this treatment process, which in the end leaves the specimens covered with just a bit of a thin layer of synthetic oil, kind of to coat the crystals themselves and keep them from oxidizing, is kind of the idea, or keep them from further oxidizing, because a lot of these specimens will probably be partially oxidized. Here's another dolomite specimen. This one's got, the camera doesn't really pick it up, but this one's also got some marcasite spots on it as well. But yeah, in general, I got a good amount of work done trimming up these guys. So the guys with the marcasite on them, I'm going to be putting them through the treatment, and I'll probably do like a bit of a step-by-step process. And I actually plan on sending these to a fellow rockhound who has a much better equipment for micro specimens. You guys would probably know him, currently rockhounding. So some of these specimens are going to be heading to him because he has an interest in micro specimens, and I just don't have the tech. Like, I'll put some videos up of like some of the marcasite that I've recorded with the cheap electronic microscope that I have, and also I'll throw in a video of some sphelerite as well. But in general, the tech I have is not as good, so I'll have to either invest in some later down the road, but I'm going to be sending a couple specimens over, well, more than a couple specimens over to currently rockhounding, so that he can really kind of get a better picture of these. It has been a while, but the treatment is finally done. These guys have been sitting in their kind of soaking in the synthetic oil that I covered them in, and they're, as you can tell, kind of a bit more oily, but they've been sitting for like almost a full month now, and I've been slowly rotating them and keeping them like keeping them draining, and slowly like the excess oil has been drained off and kind of dripped off onto the towels and stuff, and so I don't actually feel too much like oil on my fingers when I handle these, so that's a good sign. And I've actually taken some pictures, so as I'm talking I'll put up some pictures of some of the kind of close-ups that I did with my plug-in microscope, and you'll get to see the close-ups of all the cool little Marcasite blades on these specimens. First, I thought I'd quickly also show you a couple of specimens of galena I managed to free from a rock that I had that had a bunch of galena crystals in it, but they were quite fragile. They'd been weathered, and so only two. Technically, these are already cleaved. Like galena, these have like natural cleavages. It's just now they're freed from the rock, and you can kind of see the matrix that they were sitting on. So they kind of just popped off of the matrix. But they're small, tiny, nice little Southern Ontario galena specimens. But on to these guys. So it worked out as I expected. The treatment process was pretty quick. I did it within like the actual just the first couple steps, like dousing the mineral specimens in bicarbonate and then drying them off quickly, and then covering them in the WD-40 and synthetic oil treatment. Took another couple days, and then it was just basically like a month of waiting. And yeah, all of these small guys were treated. They all have little crystals on them. I'm sure you're seeing pictures of them going by as I talk. Some of them turned out well. Others don't have as many crystals, but all of them do have some. It's just some have some nicer structures and stuff. You'll see like bladed crystals and stuff like that. Just very interesting stuff. Now, the two that I found the most interesting were these two guys. This one because it actually has some iron staining on it, and so why is it not focusing? And so when I took pictures of like the iron stained crystals, and you'll probably see some close-ups now of the pictures that I took, you'll see like the kind of like the staining is kind of like just dusting the crystal, and then you got like the nice Marcasite on there. And actually the Marcasite on this specimen, as you can tell in the picture compared to other specimens, the Marcasite on this one is a lot brighter, which makes sense because this actually came from a pocket off of a larger piece. That was a pocket that hadn't been exposed to air, so it had been trapped inside basically. So the Marcasite didn't have as much chance to oxidize, because basically this treatment just stops the oxidization process, because like pyrite, Marcasite is sensitive to the moisture in the air, but it is considered much more sensitive than pyrite itself. So it does the pyrite decay thing, but at a more common, like a quicker rate, and it's more common to occur in Marcasite specimens. You'll see them kind of turn black and then into like sometimes a white powder, and they're already a very brittle mineral, so they'll fall apart very easily. So in order to kind of keep them from doing that, you can do this process, and it seems to help out. That's what I've been told. So, and it seems to have kept this specimen has been, I collected it last year at the beginning of last year, so it's like it seems to have stopped the oxidization. Now, this one was another one that I mentioned that I really liked, and it was mainly because, if you can see right where my left thumb is pointing, there's like this black spot, and you'll see a close-up picture now. That's actually a really nice little tiny octahedral microcrystal of galena, which makes it very cool and special. And then it's also just got some cool Marcasite blades on it, so that's cool too. This guy is interesting. Not as many, but he's got some concentrations kind of in the center. So, and then it's got like this nice little cluster of sphalerite, which I took a close-up picture of too. Now, the big guy, as you can tell by the dusting of all those kind of like grayish blobs, it had a lot of Marcasite on it. So I treated the big guy as well. And actually, it turned out pretty great. And it's just a nice large pocket of dolomite. And yeah, in general, this treatment process, I am pretty happy with it. I'm happy with it turned out, and I hope you enjoyed the close-up pictures that I showed you. I'll even do a quick slideshow at the end where I'll take some like macro pictures, and then you'll see the micro of those specimens as well. So you can kind of see the juxtaposition, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed that. This leads us to the end of the video. Please let me know what you liked the most in this video. There will be a slideshow after this, but if you haven't already considered subscribing, please do that if you haven't, and please also drop a like and leave a comment. That really helps me out. That spreads the, shares the channel with more people. It shows that people are more engaged, and I just want to share my love for this hobby and the awesome things I find with other people. And that brings us to the end. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the slideshow, and I'll see you in the next video.